You set up your Pinterest business account. You maybe have a few boards. Now what? What do you actually post and how do you post it? And how often, right? And how do you make sure that these pins are sending people to your website instead of just sitting there looking pretty? That is exactly what we're covering today. And by the end of this, you will know the exact posting system I use with my clients to get consistent outbound clicks, meaning real traffic to your website without being on Pinterest every single day. What to actually post? Let me start with the question that I get most often. What should I even pin? Everything that you post on Pinterest should link back to something on your website. A blog post, a YouTube video, a podcast episode, a landing page for a freebie, a service page, a product. Pinterest is not a place to post for the sake of posting. It is definitely not Instagram, as I think I say constantly on this channel. Every pin is a doorway. The question is always, where is this door leading? And does the person walking through it want to even be there? There are 3 types of pins that work really well for service providers. Content pins look to a blog post, a video, or a podcast. These are your evergreen traffic drivers. They keep working for months and even years after you publish them. Lead magnet pins link directly to a free resource, a checklist, a guide, a workshop. These build your email list straight from Pinterest. Services and offer pins link to your service page or your booking page or a specific offer. Lower volume, but high intent. Someone clicking this knows what they want. For most service providers, I recommend focusing mostly on content pins at first. Of course, pin your services like right at the beginning, but really have a focus on that content piece. Get traffic to your content and let that content do the conversion work. Tell me in the comments right now, what type of content do you pin the most? Blog posts, videos, freebies? I read every single comment and I want to know where you're starting from so I can really tailor my content to you guys. How to create a pin. Every pin has 3 parts that matter: the image, the title, and the description, but also a call to action. The image needs to be vertical, a 2:3 ratio, which is 1,000 by 1,500 pixels. This takes up the most space in the Pinterest feed and gets the best visibility. Landscape or square images get far less real estate and will never be one of your top performing pins. Your image should have a text overlay that clearly tells someone what they are about to get when they click. So think of it as a tiny billboard. Someone is scrolling past at speed, should be able to read it in under 2 seconds and immediately know if it's going to be for them or not. So we need to get real specific here. Use your brand colors, and if the rest of the Pinterest feed in your niche is all pastels, then consider having your pin as bold, like bold pink or black even. I've had some great success with black pins, if you can imagine, and that's because it has a striking contrast to everything else that's in the feed for people. It stops the scroll. That stop is what's going to get you the click. Your pin title is the headline, max 100 characters, and Pinterest only shows about the first 30 to 40 characters in the feed. So lead with the keyword first. It's basically, you want to lead with the most important words, including your keyword. Be specific about what the pin leads to. Your pin description is the closer. Aim for 220 to 230 characters, although you can have 500. But the 220 and 232 characters is a recommendation because of research that Tailwind did in 2025. It is a whole Pinterest benchmark study, and I will put the link below for you to check it out. It shows that pins that have between 200 and 232 characters are typically best specifically for outbound clicks. So write it as a short paragraph. Who is this for and what problem does it solve? And also add, what do they get when they click? End with a specific call to action, not click for more. Something specific like read the full guide or grab the free checklist. And please do not keyword stuff your description. A list of keywords separated by commas or those up and down lines is not a description. Pinterest does not reward it, and real humans typically bounce pretty quickly. Just write naturally. If you want a one-page checklist of everything that goes into a pin that gets outbound clicks, I made one, of course. It is called the Organic Pins Checklist, and it is free in my visibility vault. Go grab it right now at learn.jenvazquez.com/resources, and I'll also put it down below. The 5 pins system. Here is the system that makes Pinterest work without creating a ton of new content. Every time you publish a piece of content, whether that's a blog post, a YouTube video, or a podcast episode, or even a freebie, you're gonna create 5 different pins for it, but you're gonna change up the colors and the text and everything else. So it's gonna have a slightly different lean for every single pin, a different text overlay, and a different title name, but all 5 links to the same URL. Why 5? Because you are targeting 5 different keywords and 5 different angles on the same content. We're gonna get a ton of reach for you from one piece of content, bottom line. Different people search different things. Pinterest strategy for photographers or how to get more photography clients might both lead to the exact same blog post, but they are reaching 2 completely different searches and different clients in that manner. This system means that you are multiplying your reach from one piece of work instead of creating new content every single time that you want to post something. How often should you post? The safe zone for most business accounts is 1 fresh, meaning just made, pin per day. And the source for this is Tailwind's Pinterest Marketing Benchmark Study from 2025. 1 pin a day is absolutely enough to grow and get traffic. If these pins are keyword optimized and linking to strong content, I have clients who post 1 pin a day and book clients every month from Pinterest. If you want to post more, 5 pins a day is a solid sweet spot for a service provider. It gives Pinterest enough activity to understand your account and distribute your content more widely. What you want to avoid is bulk posting a ton of pins at once and then ghosting Pinterest, just going silent, right? Because a lot of people have the best intentions and do a bunch of pinning, and then the next 4 days are out of control and you're not pinning anymore. So I always like for people to pin once a week so that it doesn't feel super exhausting like Instagram. Pinterest rewards consistency far more than volume spikes. A few good pins every day beats 20 pins on Monday and nothing for the rest of the week. The 7-day rule. Now, this is a serious rule. I give caveats for like everything I talk about on here, but this is something that I am going to stick to. When you create those 5 pins for one piece of content, you are not going to be posting them all in the same day. You need to space them out every 7 days. So if you have 5 pins and you're putting them out over 7 days, you're going to have 5 weeks of content. If you've followed me enough or you're part of my membership, you'll know that when I use Tailwind, it's the way that I save the most time. If you have 5 different pins with 5 different angles and different keywords, this is the best way to test keywords. When you look at all the pins in the next 6 months, you're going to know which pin performed better, and you're going to know that that keyword is really stinking good. So this is the way that I test these theories. This also keeps your content working without looking spammy, and this way you're not relying on Google to get people to your blogs. And it stretches one piece of content across more than a month of pinning, and many of my students will use these pins as stories on Instagram. The only time that I use less than 7 days between pins pointing to the same URL is if I have something urgent and or time sensitive, like a live class or an event with a specific date. In that case, I might go down to 4 days, but that is totally a rare exception and definitely not the rule for a healthy Pinterest account. Batch and schedule. The most important thing that I teach about Pinterest, in my opinion, is that your pins go out every day, but you do not have to be actually pinning them every single day. That is the whole point. That is the whole reason why I love Pinterest so much. You batch your pins once a week or once a month. Once you've done it for a while, I don't recommend testing that if you're brand new. You're going to create your pins in Canva, or if you're in Tailwind, use Tailwind Create if you want to speed it up a bit more. Using your Canva templates, you're going to write your titles and descriptions and schedule them out using Tailwind or Pinterest's own built-in scheduler. Pinterest has a free native scheduler built right into the platform. Go to your profile, click Create, choose the pin, upload that pin design, fill in the title and the description, and add your URL. Pick your board, set the date and time, and you're done. Now, this can change at any point in time, but as of right now, you can schedule up to 30 pins going out over 30 days, but these things change all the time. My recommendation is Tailwind. It's what I use and what I recommend. It is Pinterest's approved scheduling partner. Research shows that pins scheduled through Tailwind are 54% more likely to drive over 1,000 outbound clicks over time compared to pins published by other methods. One extra step that almost nobody does, but you really seriously need to, is add alt text to every single pin. Every single pin. Alt text is a short description of describing the image. It helps Pinterest to understand your content. It supports accessibility, and research shows that pins with alt text earn 123% more outbound clicks on average. Again, that benchmark report, which is going to be below. It takes 30 seconds per pin, or instantly if you want to use my Pin Copy Pro, which I'll put down below. Almost nobody does it, and it is one of the fastest wins on the entire platform, in my opinion. Here's the thing about the system. Once it's set up and running, it is genuinely 1 hour a week. But getting there, knowing your keywords, having your templates built, your board set up, your first batch of pins ready to go, that is where most people get stuck and kind of give up. If you want this whole setup done with you, not by yourself, I have something called Pinterest in a Box. You get custom keyword research for your business, your board names and titles given to you, 30 custom Canva pin templates in your brand, plus all of the content on those pins. You're going to use those as templates, but you're going to be able to pin for your first 30 days. I also include a 90-day content calendar and 2 months of Voxer coaching so that you have me right there as you find your rhythm. Here is your posting system in one place. Create 5 pins per piece of content. Each pin gets a different image, a different text overlay, a different title, and a different keyword angle. All 5 link to the same URL. Space them 7 days apart minimum. Post 1 to 5 fresh pins per day on a consistent schedule. Batch and schedule them using Pinterest native scheduler or Tailwind. Add alt text to every single pin and make sure that every single pin links somewhere on your website that is worth landing on. Your pins go out every day. You do not need to be on Pinterest every day. That's the whole system. Tell me in the comments, are you currently batching your Pinterest content or are you still posting one at a time when you remember? Subscribe because next week we are talking about the complete Pinterest strategy that brings service clients back to you on repeat.